How's it going, everybody? This is Dustin with Team Conti Sim Performance with a lap replay at COTA West Layout. This will be, I believe we're week 9 of 25 Season 4. Um, Hot track this time around. Keep that in mind. It's pretty slick. Um, it'll make entries a little more challenging to make the front turn, and then exits a little more challenging getting the throttle down. Couple replays for you today, so we'll get right into it. First will be by Ambassador Zach Rinker. Appreciate you, Zach. All right, so there's the first. That's a 40.29. Again, thank you, Zach. Um, while I'm loading up the next replay, I want to go over the track map and um, discuss a couple of things: gearing, obvious track limits, things like that. So here's the track map. Let's first go over obvious passing zones. So into one is always a obvious passing zone. Into the S's through this portion of the track, there's really not much for opportunity, but plenty of opportunity to capitalize on mistakes. A good exit out of 7 can set you up for a run out of 8, or even better yet, out of 8 into 9. Be another good passing zone. Another one could be into 12, depending on their approach to that corner, whether it's real wide entry or tight. Carousel, not so much. 15, a good run there into 16 to finish the run. So second replay here is from Michael Conti. So thank you, Mr. Conti, for getting us set up on that. Gearing was the next thing. I think Zach was on the taller gear option, which is like a 3 something. And I think we could probably do away with that. I'll put it in the notes so you know exactly what that ratio is. But if you like the taller gear ratio to kind of have a little more rear stability or security on throttle, that's an option. The other gearing option is a 430 gear, which is what Conti is on here. I'll crank him up and turn me down. The other thing I wanted to mention was the track limits. Obviously, very much more like real life, where um, the only way you really get an incident on like entry, or I'm sorry, on the inside apex of these turns is if your outside tires cross over onto the curbs as well, or beyond the curb. Um, it's pretty much it's pretty much free reign with the runoffs. If you clip grass, it will give you an off track, but otherwise it's wide open. I'll go ahead and tune, allow you to tune into Michael's lap here. So there's Conti's lap with a 40.4. I do want to jump back and show that off track. Um, well, actually, let me back up. Right there, you can hear that we're chipping into one on this 430 ratio. The gains that we got elsewhere made up for it. Up to fourth gear here, then back down to third here. I think that's where we had the off track. Yep, right there. So let's take a look at what that required. I'll show you this one. You can see how much he was off on the inside. He did not get the off track there. He got it there. So again, as long as those outside tires are mostly on the curbing, you're fine. I did leave that whole lap in silence so that you can go back and listen to the shift points, brake points. Um, One thing I want to point out right here, I'm going to do it full speed because it's really interesting to see. Um, he uses a lot of the runoff right here through this corner, and it sets him up on a really, really aggressive angle back to the outside or left side for the next right-hander. And as he's in the brakes and having to turn back to straight and then back into the corner, it increases the degrees that he has to turn. Not necessarily in the wheel, but just the overall rotation of the truck to get it pointed the other way. When he does that, it gets light on the rear, and watch what he does with the wheel here. So that kept the front from over gripping and spinning the truck out. It is a trick that I've seen and heard of often, but something that is very difficult to master. I cannot do it. But if you find yourself in a pickle and your option is spin out or give the wheel a seizure, then uh, give it a shot. Let's see. Otherwise, we can go back to the track map quickly here and go over a couple. Well, just review a couple more things. Um, let's see. Get back to it. And there's the map. Okay. So again, um, to note on the Rinker gearing option, again, I'll have those in the notes. I don't have those numbers written down. But on the Rinker's gearing option, we're not chipping into one. On the 430, we are. Um, However, on the 430, you're up to fourth gear here, downshifting to the third, and then everywhere else it's comfort level. You get back to third here through the carousel. I noticed Conti shifted here. Take a look at that in the video. He shifted here to third, and that kept the rear underneath it during that right hander. It'll have a tendency to be tight through this portion if you over rush your entry, and it'll get loose as you're turning back to this last apex right here. So keep that in mind. You can manipulate that gearing, and being in the shorter gearing ratio, the 430, it'll wind up a little quicker once you do get it straight and get the pedal down. Um, the other gearing option, the Tolling gearing, I think it's a 328 or something like that. Again, it'll be in the notes. That one's going to be more momentum based. It's going to be you need to carry more center speed because the acceleration off the corners won't be as strong or as as quick. Um, so anyway, that's all I have for COTA. I appreciate Zach Rinker for his lap and Mr. Conti as well. Thank you guys for running those laps for me and putting down some heaters for us. And we look forward to a good week. Thanks, guys.